There is a video on Club Shay Shay where Dr. Cheyenne Bryant explicitly states that she has 6 separate degrees.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree.
And out of those 6 separate degrees, 3 of those are doctorates.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, a house.
She has been a doctoral candidate 3 separate times. And 3 separate times she is unable to find the transcripts proving that she completed said degree. You're telling me this woman has the intellect to sit down and obtain 6 separate degrees, but does not have the intellect to follow through to show proof of her credentials that she's loudly stating on various platforms. 6 separate degrees, 3 doctorates, 0 proof. Make that shit make sense, because 2 + 2 = 4, and she got 7.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Respectfully Speaking TV, where we sip tea, mind everybody else's business, and keep it as real as possible. What's up, guys? It's your girl, Lennox Noel, and today we are talking about the now infamous Cheyenne Bryant, because the people are saying that Dr. Bryant is a doctor like Dr. Dre is a doctor like Dr. Pepper. In other words, they're saying old girl got her degree from the University of Lies, and they have been dragging her all through these social media streets for weeks over questions about her credentials. So, how did we get here? Let's talk about it. Now, for those of you who may not know, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is an alleged therapist/psychology expert that has built a massive online platform giving relationship advice, discussing trauma, mental health, dating dynamics, and calling out toxic behavior, specifically from Black men. Whether she was sitting across from Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, or Nick Cannon, she had a way of using confidence and common psychological concepts to completely dismantle low vibrational behavior in real time. And to say that these men did not enjoy being intellectually gathered on camera is an understatement. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because the same people that sat by happily and watched Kevin Samuels spend years online criticizing women with not a qualification in sight, even in spite of his own messy personal history, failed marriages, child support issues, absentee father allegations, and endless rumors about his sexuality, all of a sudden became deeply concerned about qualifications the minute Cheyenne Bryant started checking men publicly. And there was no one more emotionally invested in this saga than funky-ass misogynist comedian turned podcast host Corey Holcomb. He ended up linking up with an entire crew of busters who started picking apart her academic background and claiming they couldn't verify certain credentials. But her supporters weren't here for it, honey. According to them, it was starting to look a lot less like genuine concern and a lot more like a drag session by some bitter busters who couldn't handle a confident Black woman calling them out publicly and bruising a few egos along the way. Now check Miss Bryant in action.
Me being who I am, I can take anybody and transform them into who I want them to be. A woman cannot do that.
That's not true.
In most cases.
That's not true.
Okay, she's not willing.
No, I'm saying that no man can take a woman and transform her into what he wants her to be. She came in and is willing to allow you to tell her what you want and she'll submit to those. You're not God, and you're not the potter maker. So your hands ain't on no pot, sweetie, taking a woman and conforming. You just don't have that power. You probably would like to, but you don't have that power. You can take her, like I just said before, with the womanizer and the guy who, me being in your studio, and say, baby, these are the qualifications, and she chooses, which is her free will to never be yours, to hit them points or not. Because you can never take water, you can never take water, baby, and make this 7-Up.
Now, let's get back to Corey Holcomb, because you see, he and Cheyenne Bryant have a little history. And while I can't say it definitively, I believe this is where this takedown may have started. Because about 10 years ago, Holcomb appeared on a show co-hosted by Miss Bryant. Check this out.
Saying we was on the Zoe show and you said you own me. You didn't own me, because if you own me, I'll be like, yeah, she made some strong points to shut me down. If somebody makes strong points to shut you down, why not admit it?
Yeah.
If somebody enlightens you with information, you need to say, yeah, that was real though. That was real. I would say it, but she wasn't talking real.
Yeah, right. Well, honey, that's not the story that she's telling. According to Cheyenne Bryant, she had to get him all the way together after he tried to disrespect her on air. And that moment may have been the beginning of this long-standing tension. Here's what she had to say about that appearance.
Ask you about some internet rumors that I seen. You know, Corey Holcomb said some things about you, about not having your degree and where you started off as I guess working in a strip club. Is any of that stuff true?
You said you're not a real doctor.
You said, yeah, you're not a real doctor.
Where this Corey Holcomb thing comes from is I was on a show 10 years ago when I think it was before I even had my doctorate degree. And Corey is used to being able to be very disrespectful to women and do his thing.
You was on the show with him, or was just...
he was a guest on the show. I was co-hosting.
Okay.
He was a guest. And I drilled his ass, to be honest. It's on YouTube. People could, look at it. And I cut into him and I said, you seem like you are inferior to white men. And you seem like you got daddy issues. And you seem like you got mommy issues. And you got kids that don't even talk to you or respect you. They don't like you. It tells a lot about your character. Now, this was 10 years ago. Okay. And obviously he's still in his feminine because he's still holding a grudge over it. You know, this is like interviews are interviews. So you say them, you do them, and you move on to the next. And so was very upset. And I feel like in that space, he was, y'all could watch it. He was dumbfounded. Like usually he comes back with the, FUB, or he has something to say. Corey's, he got a mouth. He was really just like, a deer with headlights. He was just like, oh my God. We know that keeping up your hygiene is one of the number one symptoms to depression. The number one way you're able to see that somebody's depressed or in their addiction or overcompensating in addictive behaviors is how they keep themselves up. That's how parents could look at their kids and be like, you're not bathing? Your hygiene is not up to par? What's going on? That man's hygiene was on negative 200. What I'm saying is he needs deeper help than me coming on 5150 to bring him a bigger audience.
So it would appear that some of the comments that she made about him hit him deep down in his spirit, honey. And he has been on a crusade to bring her down ever since. And in the process, pulling together a band of merry dust bandits to back him up. He was butthurt on the Cam Newton show.
I don't want my platform to be fake. That shit.
Why would you call her a doctor, brother? I'm not saying your platform is fake at all. I'm just saying, when somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research.
And it was what?
I don't see doctor nowhere.
He cried on this show.
What is the beef? What is it all
the
about?
beef, she mad because I busted out. She's not a doctor. So that makes her mad because this is part of her hustle. I'm a doctor. No, you're not a doctor. Don't go around saying you're a doctor in front of me, because everybody who lie around me, we fall out. We fall out. Everybody who lie around me, I try to be quiet, but it just come out.
And here.
I will give her this. She's very clever with words. DJ Envy asked, are you a doctor? And she didn't say yes.
Then she made an appearance on the Paul Pierce show, and he attempted to humble her too.
I have one guy that I have dated off and on for 5 years.
We got her.
We dated for 5 years off and on.
So you was his work for 5 years? You been his work? You still his work?
I mean, it was literally like the dust bandits of the world were uniting to put this woman in her place. She's attractive, she's educated, she's articulate, confident, and she's Black. And most importantly, they know they can't get it. And trust me, they want it. But she appears to be unimpressed by them. And for some puffed up egos, that is problematic. Because unfortunately, for some men, the smell of confidence, accomplishments, and intelligence stinks, especially on a Black woman. They attacked her about her age. They attacked her about her marital status, not having children. Surely she was the problem because she did not have a man to validate her, right? Since that time, Mr. Corey Holcomb has been out here telling anyone that would listen that she was a fraud. And I guess it must have caught on because the people went to digging and they could not find anything to prove that this woman had any of the credentials she claimed. Now, fast forward to a few weeks ago, and what had been nothing more than speculation by a bitter dust bucket up until this point was reignited on the Joe Budden podcast when Ms. Bryant admitted that she was not a licensed therapist.
I no longer practice under a license.
And why
I'm in private practice.
You're making all the money now.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what people don't understand, right? So just to educate some folks a little bit, a license is really only needed so you can bill insurance.
And well, you know the rest of the story. Now, while it may appear that I am a Cheyenne Bryant supporter, my opinion is actually twofold. Because I mean, really, what lies did she tell, right? Now, I absolutely believe some men online are enjoying this downfall a little too much because they never like seeing an intelligent Black woman publicly analyze dysfunctional Black male behavior. I also think the fact that they can't have her plays a part in their disdain of her. This is a woman that has stated that despite her age, she is in no way interested in entertaining negative Black male behavior. You see, it was okay when Black men ran with the narrative that single Black mothers were undesirables. I mean, like, even though they were the ones effectively making them, right? But when a Black woman says, "Back at you, bitch," she's a problem. I also don't believe that her relationship or familiar status disqualifies her from being qualified to speak on the subjects of marriage and family. In fact, many of the relationship counselors featured on shows like Family or Fiancé, Put a Ring on It, had not a husband to speak of. And yet there they were trying to tell people how to be highly functional in relationships. And I don't see any campaigns against them. And just a quick sidebar. For the men that may have stopped by and visited my channel today, I am not a man hater. I am what you might call an equal opportunity reader. Anybody can get it. If you are a good man resting comfortably in your manhood, you are by no means bothered by anything that Cheyenne Bryant had to say, and you won't be bothered by this because you know it doesn't apply to you. But I digress. Now, with all that said, Miss Bryant's entire brand was built on her degrees, clinical expertise, and being Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
So I think it would behoove her to actually have said qualifications and definitely not become combative when questions come up about them. Because while she may have earned multiple degrees, what she hasn't earned is the right to prop herself up on her expertise and credentials, and then the right to tell people to kiss her ass when they ask her to prove it.
For the folks who have already made up their mind to not like me or not understand me, listen, I don't give a fuck what your narrative is. I would like for you to recreate it, double down on it, and run that shit.
Then she tried to involve the Lord during her appearance on the Marissa Mitchell show. And honey, at the end of that interview, even Marissa Mitchell was like, whatever, bitch. She was not sold.
I earned the title, I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in His will and I'm serving and I'm doing His, His word, my sheep will know my voice, even the sheep in wolf clothing. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it, yeah, right. Because I earned it.
Every show she appeared on, she rested on her educational background and resume.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
Well, Miss Bryant, in the real world, a falsified resume will get your ass fired, as you are currently seeing.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Folks are asking for their money back on her most recent book, and Hay House Publishing is obliging. There were also claims that Argosy University put out a statement. However, I don't believe this to be true because they are a defunct university, and as a result, they don't have an active Instagram page. However, according to my Googles, you can request a history of your financial aid. Now, I've never heard of financial aid offering refunds, as Cheyenne Bryant indicated, but they can and will provide you with a record of what you paid for. Now, Miss Cheyenne, Had you just branded yourself a life coach, you would have been accepted just the same. However, instead of being honest, you added grifter to your resume, and now you are up there with the likes of Umar Johnson, just another shyster and plague on the Black community, who, by the way, also has a doctorate that no one can find. Tricks like these make it harder for other professionals to be trusted in an industry that already shows preferential treatment to white professionals, especially in this political environment that is already trying to sell the misguided notion that every Black professional is a damn DEI hire. Cheyenne Bryant, you played yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And by doing this, you played right into the hands of the nobodies that preyed on your downfall. You lie and you're wrong, and you need not double down on this. What you need to do is take a break from these podcasts and go sit your ass down somewhere and let this blow over. If it was not your goal to be a celebrity, good. Stay beautiful, rebrand, and help the folks in your community for real this time. Because while it may have been a few dusty men that started this campaign, Black women have now taken hold of it. And what you don't want is a group of motivated sisters to start using their powers against your ass. Can you say state board complaints? Can you say criminal complaints? Because impersonating a licensed therapist in the state of California is a crime. And sweetie, there is no record of you ever being licensed. But on the Joe Budden show, you said you are no longer licensed, which implies that at some point you were, which again, nobody can find. But anywho, regardless of how we feel, Cheyenne Bryant wants us all to know that she is still cute and unbothered by this entire mess, honey. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. It seems like we're living in the age of no accountability. Are you still a fan? Do you think this is much to do about nothing, or do you think she should be canceled? I mean, look, Umar Johnson claims to be a doctor, and folks have been giving him money for years. Drop me a line in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. It would really help my channel. And as always, until next time, folks, bye.